Cute. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely... I get off at noon, so it's possible.
Screen recording now. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I'll try my best to be awake.
She's off on Saturday.
Yeah. I guess zoom in, everybody can see my whole giant pile of clothes.
So we'll see. I think Summer Game Fest will be telling. I also wonder if that is if we're sticking to the core game.
I did my
I
just dumped it on the floor.
is so mainstream.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to fold this when I'm not
for us to
tired.
get there and for it to still not sell gangbusters for how many normies love.
I just need to leave by like noonish.
I don't use normie as a pejorative.
I know we started a little later, but...
What?
I said I do still need to leave by like noonish. I know we're starting a little later, but...
Oh, yeah, no worries. No worries. I should be asleep.
Yeah.
No worries.
Just I've kind of packed a little bit more into my day on top of school and...
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. There we go. But hello, everyone. We're
Hello.
back. There's another podcast. Praise the Run.
Praise it.
Another episode. Oh, my vape is about to fall out. I got a little hole in my pocket.
Wow.
It's a lot bigger now. It was
Jeez.
a little hole.
What'd you do? Go rescue like some kittens in a fire or something?
No, I think it's from when I smoked, and it was a cigarette hole at one point. But this is like my work sweatshirt.
It looks like your Fight Club sweatshirt.
Yeah, I've painted fences in it and different walls, and
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's not what this podcast is about, but we usually start with something a little bit easy. It's been 2 weeks. I really haven't done anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was that big... After the big Nintendo thing, nothing really happened.
No, I mean, not like...
Super crazy. I mean, some small things have happened, but nothing...
Right. Yeah, nothing has came out or anything, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing that's caught my eye. South of Midnight came out finally.
That's on Game Pass. Yeah, I haven't played that.
I've heard it's
I don't know if I
fine.
will, just because I was already not a fan of the animation style, and I don't know if I could handle it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, my brain, I think, I'll just get a headache fast, because I already have issues with that, so...
Yeah, that's, if it's... You can't turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can turn it off in-game, but not in the cutscenes, and there's still a lot of cutscenes and stuff.
I don't think the cutscenes would be a problem. I think it's when I'm controlling it.
Yeah.
That, like, if the input isn't... If it's, like, laggy on purpose, like, that'll fuck with me, I think.
Right.
But maybe not, I don't know. I haven't got there yet, because there's been too many other things I'm playing, and...
Right.
That crab game got its year update.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw there was a trailer for that. I haven't tried that out either. I've wanted to get back to that. I've debated on if it was worth it or not. It didn't control good enough.
Yeah.
Like, it was just under the mark where I was just like, I don't know if I need
It was
this.
a little rough.
And then I think Erdtree came out like a month later or something like that.
Right.
And it was like, well, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't compete with the goats, you know.
True.
Um,
Yeah, it looks really cool though. They got like boss run mode. They added a new boss.
cool.
It looks like a whole new area. They added like a bestiary, like a museum you can walk around in and see all the bosses and stuff you've defeated.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, that was
skins.
kind of my big complaint about the game was like enemy variety was pretty lacking.
Yeah.
In the game. I mean, it controlled great for what it was. It just wasn't. It was heavier than what I like those games to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last boss that I did end up fighting was such a wall that I just used the gun option because that's an option.
Right.
And just turn your shell into a gun, and that's really fun too.
Yeah.
But yeah. I wonder what that is. I guess no spoilers. I still haven't seen the end of that game or anything like that.
No, I don't think I have either. I've seen like what I thought was the end, but it was only like the halfway point, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I guess I've always thought I would go back to that game at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, and there's Night Rain's not my bag. I'm gonna try it out, but you know, I doubt that's gonna stick either. So maybe I'll have the craving for going back to one of those that aren't like I'm playing Demon Souls again.
Yeah.
But it's still like it's not From Software. But it is From Software because they made the original, but it's not like From Software at their prime, so it's like still pretty archaic and obtuse. I don't know. There's so many Souls-likes now.
Right.
Like we're in a plethora of Souls-likes.
No, absolutely. I follow this guy on YouTube that posts like that's literally his whole thing is he just plays Souls-like games.
Yeah.
And he'll post like
Cowboy.
He'll post like 3 to 4 to 5 different ones a episode or whatever, like,
really?
and they're just like, you know, different, just all sorts of them. There's great. There's that many. There's just so many.
There was the last Berserker Kazan is finally out. That's the one that people have been talking about.
I think I saw someone I subscribed to started playing that.
Yeah. Yeah, people say it's like the hardest one, but it has difficulty options.
Yeah.
Like you can turn it down to easy. But apparently easy is still pretty hard. I think the only other one that I remember that had a difficulty option was the Star Wars ones. But even then, like I feel like the Star Wars games, like it did have one that was like basically you take no damage, but I feel like the regular easy mode on that was still challenging. Like you still can take some hits, but like you're still gonna get taken down if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I've heard that game's like pretty like combo heavy kind of thing. It's more on the action side than the deliberate tanking and turtling things. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that would be a cool thing to check out. Also, we have Liza P DLC in the summer.
Yeah, that's still
That's imminent, and I'm still unclear on how that is. Like the way that they've made it seem, it's kind of like a director's cut of the whole thing, where like it's a prequel, and then there's gonna be new stuff in the main game as well. And
yeah, it must be. I imagine it's some sort of prequel that like leads up to when he ends up in the train.
Yeah.
And then from that point forward, you gain the additional stuff.
Right. And there was a lot more like angel lore in the Liza P DLC trailer, so I don't know, maybe they'll focus more on that. There was like a few angel bits in the main game, but they weren't like, they were kind of like forgotten.
Yeah, maybe they just built upon, they probably just built upon the lore, and you know, they're trying to expand their universe now.
I can't remember if you even fight one of those things in there. Yeah, you probably do, but there was definitely a couple of them that it's kind of like the Souls thing where they're like kind of just like dead on the ground, and then like you just be like, oh, I wonder what that means. That's crazy lore.
Right.
Oh, I got to take note of that. Yeah. I don't know. There's still no date on that though. I'd imagine that's probably Summer Games Fest time.
Yeah, July.
But before we get into what we are playing, I mean, like I said, I'm playing Demon Souls, but I guess we could talk about what is probably going to take up my time, is that screenshots of the Oblivion remake leaked yesterday. I don't have a good way to pull it up. I don't know if anybody's like... There's the kind of funny thing right there. They have it in the thumbnail, but
yeah.
This Oblivion remake has been rumored for a while, and that it's going to be a shadow drop. And the rumor was that April was the time frame.
Yeah.
April's running out of time, and apparently that's like next week that they're gonna shadow drop this thing.
Huh.
But screenshots leaked yesterday on I think the studio's Virtuous. It's not going to be Bethesda Game Studios doing the remake. Virtuous is doing it, but on their page online, some screenshots leaked, and then somebody snatched them before they took it down. So you can look those up. It's really hard to I don't really have a way to look it up on the Xbox. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of an Oblivion remake? Did you play Oblivion way back then?
No. I think the only game I've played is Skyrim.
Yeah.
In that series.
Mm-hmm.
And I never even owned it. I think I always just played other people's, or
yeah.
Like you could borrow other people's games on Steam.
Right.
So that would be I'd borrow that one because it was that was probably one of my first massive RPG type games like that.
Right. Let me see if I can pull out a video too while you're talking about it.
But yeah, I don't think I played any of the other ones.
No.
I couldn't even tell you.
I mean, Skyrim's good. Skyrim's old now too.
There's just a ton of them. It's kind of one of those things where it's there's so many. I played one, but playing all of them. If I get too into it, I have to play all of them, and then it becomes a completionist thing, and then I'll lay awake at night crying about it. So I kind of just pretend that it's too overwhelming.
Well, I mean, this is the game.
It's kind of like with Final Fantasy. I want to play all of them, and now that I've played enough of them now that I'm sad that I might never get to play all of them. But
you could probably get through the original series of games and
I've at least started most of them through an emulator on my computer, so I'm not really that far behind. It's honestly most of the recent ones that I'm behind on. The old ones I've played.
Okay, because
it's really a lot of the recent ones after Final Fantasy. After the one with the underwater soccer, back in
10.
Yeah, that's probably all the ones before that I've probably played.
Right.
It's all the ones after that when they get all cool in 3D and shit.
12 was on Game Pass for a while.
Yeah.
And that might be on PlayStation, their subscription.
Mm-hmm.
11's an MMO.
Yeah.
So,
I think I bought.
And it's still going.
I might have bought 11 at one point, when it first came out, thinking oh, this is how I'll get back into it, and then I just never had the time, so it's just sitting somewhere.
11's still going. You can still play 11. They're still updating it and stuff like that. I don't think they're adding expansions, but they're still thriving. You know, it's not as big as 14, but 14 is also an MMO. 14 is big. The first 3 or 4 expansions are free, and then it's $15 a month. But that's hundreds and hundreds of hours versus I want to say 12. 12's definitely longer than 10. I want to say it's maybe 30 hours or 40 hours at most, though. It's not unless if you do 100% the crazy hardcore shit.
Yeah.
Because they all have some crazy ultimate weapon challenge kind of thing. 13 is split up into 3. There's 3 13s.
Yeah.
There's 2 10s as well.
Right.
There's 10, 10 2.
I haven't even played 10 2.
No. I don't think 10-2 is canon. They're pop idols in 10-2 or something like that.
Right, it's just focused on the 3 main
people really
in the first one.
Yeah, right? Titus is still in it though.
Oh really? See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't beat the other one either, so that's why I kind of avoided some of them, because I was I don't want them to. I got to play the ones that aren't tied to this one.
They remastered 10 and 10-2 pretty. I was just gonna say recently. I guess it's been probably 6 or 7 years since that point.
Yeah.
But they're all on modern hardware, so it would be worth it. They're probably all really easy or really cheap to get to. 13 is fine. I don't know about the sequels. There's 13-2, and then the third one's called Lightning Returns. 15, I know people, there's some diehards for 15. 15's when they start doing like DLC and stuff like that, and there's like 7 or 8 different DLC for that game.
Wow. See, there's just so much.
Yeah. But I don't know if any of that's worth it. Like, some of that's like co-op stuff, and then like it gets weird where like...
I think I'm happy with like the ones I've played, because I played what I consider like the OG ones. You know, like a lot, you know, I mean, not that none of the newer ones aren't as good. They're definitely a different vibe.
Right. It's like, just play the remakes, you know? The ones that they bring up to modern hardware, or like
those are great.
7 remake. They did those pixel remasters pretty recently.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're doing enough of that too that you can play them, but
yeah,
Elder Scrolls, I'll probably never even start that journey.
Really?
That's
Also,
because those games are also extremely long.
That's what I was gonna say. So Oblivion, on the other hand, is that those games are long. Yeah. Where, like, I mean, you can main quest those games in 20 or 30 hours.
I can't, though.
But if you want to, you can spend...
If I'm gonna play a game, I'm gonna play it. Right. Just this morning, I was watching this guy, and he was like, he speed runs Baldur's Gate 3 in 4 minutes. I didn't watch the full thing because I wasn't sure. I haven't beat it yet, so I wasn't sure how, like, what is considered, if he makes it to the end or whatever. Like, I didn't want anything to be spoiled for me. But
right.
I just watched the first minute to see like how he gets started, and one of the game developers were like, "Yeah, this guy's beating my 40-hour game in 4 minutes." I'm like, 40 hours, bro? I'm on like hour 80 right now, and I haven't even made it to Baldur's Gate. Like,
right.
I don't even know.
They say main quest is 40 hours.
Like,
yeah.
I am so. I put so many hours into that game. At one point, I was putting a few hours a day into it, and now I've had to cut it down a lot just because other games and other responsibilities. But
yeah,
I still play it at least once a week.
Hell yeah!
Just for memory's sake, because at this point I'm so deep into it, and all my characters are souped up a specific way that if I don't play it at least regularly, I'll completely forget what benefits people have and stuff, and it's already
right. Yeah, Oblivion was it was a very special game at the time.
Yeah,
I want to say it was in the 7th grade when it came out. So I had all the time in the world, and I mean, Skyrim as well. Skyrim, I was a junior in high school, but Oblivion is definitely shows its age. All of them are on Game Pass, which is the cool thing. Not all of the PC ones are on Game Pass, but a couple of the PC ones are.
Yeah.
But 3, 4, and 5, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim are all on Game Pass, and then the 2 PC ones that they have are the Pirate one, I think that's Renegade, and they have another one of the side stories, but the first one's called Arena, Elder Scrolls Arena, and the second one's called Daggerfall.
Okay.
Daggerfall's the biggest one. I think it's still considered the biggest map, like video game map of all time. It takes 400 hours to cross the whole map.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's like 300 something square miles long. I forgot how. I'm not gonna look it up, but it's insane how big that map is.
Huh.
The Oblivion's definitely a lot smaller, but it's more dense.
Is it actually like full of stuff though, or is it just like 400 hours of emptiness with a couple cities or whatever?
It's kind of both. I mean, it's more realistic.
Because even Skyrim is like pretty empty in between stuff.
Right.
That was like one of my issues with even Skyrim, was like, for the amount of stuff you can do, there's so much you gotta not do.
Yeah,
there's
still a bunch. There's a bunch of stuff there, but it's the most realistic of like what real world traveling in the medieval times would probably be like.
That's fair.
You know, like you'd still find like castles and keeps probably like every 50 square miles or so, but to cross 50 square miles in medieval times is like days, unless you're doing it by horse, and then it's like hours. But
apparently this game is twice the size of Great Britain.
What, Daggerfall?
Yeah.
Daggerfall, it's insane.
It's bigger than the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
I was just looking up. I just quickly Googled like some of the biggest ones.
And the game came out in like 97 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big game. Really cool game, though. I mean, it's, of course, the predecessor to that. Morrowind is the first time any of these games came to console for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember Morrowind.
What were they before? PC only?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then, did they go to exclusively Xbox when they were console?
Yes.
That was the other
Morrowind
reason why I never played them. Because I only had...
I think Oblivion was at launch, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it was a year. Same thing with Fallout 3. It was a year exclusive.
See, I only had PlayStation until I was in my 20s. I didn't even...
Yeah.
So a lot of that was like... A lot of those Xbox exclusives, I didn't... Unless my cousin had it and he was into like Grand Theft Auto type games,
right. Yeah, Skyrim would have probably been the first one that was non-exclusive at launch.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the biggest scene of these games, like, I've played them all on console, but PC is the biggest scene because of the modding and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oblivion, though, is, like, really the first time any of these games... Like, Morrowind was big, but it wasn't Oblivion big. Like, Oblivion was huge at the time. And it kind of came out... I don't think it was launch, but it was pretty close to launch of the 360, where, like... There wasn't really anything like this kind of thing on the 360. Like, there was a couple of JRPGs, but, like, a massive Western RPG was pretty much non-existent on the console.
Yeah.
And Bethesda comes out with a game, like, once in a decade. I mean, at that point, Morrowind to Oblivion, I guess it wasn't really that long. It was, like, 4 years, but... Like, the leap from original Xbox to 360 felt so huge at the time.
Yeah, right.
And now Oblivion is almost 20 years old. And Virtuous is apparently behind this remaster. This is supposed to be, like, Unreal 5. They're calling it a remaster. It's more of a remake.
Yeah.
It's like they're updating assets. They're updating like how systems work in the game, and like because like a lot of the systems weren't figured out, kind of thing. Like Skyrim streamlines a lot of that shit. Like the stealth sneaking systems and like lock picking and all of the crazy like weird encumbrance and stuff like that. They hadn't figured out yet. And just like getting it all to fit on a controller and feel nice was still like kind of weird.
Right.
Like it was great for the time, but there wasn't really anything else to compare it to, and now we have 20 years of it.
Right. So how do you make it feel like that?
Right. So I would guess that they're putting in work behind it. So I mean, like I went back to Oblivion since we've started the podcast. I don't remember how long ago that was, but I got like 3 hours into it and it was like, this is fine. This is what I remember, but I guess what I remember is a lot better in the past, you know?
Right, when you didn't have other things to weigh it with.
Right. And like even Skyrim's like that too. Like Skyrim's cool to go back to, but it's not like it doesn't feel as good as, like, other things.
Yeah, I definitely tried to do that, too. Been like, because, like, you know, you want to go back and try different things and routes and stuff, and you're just like, oh, man, this is not as
it's not
smooth as I thought it felt at one point.
Right. So it would be really cool if they, like, just tighten up some of that, got it feeling good.
Yeah.
You can play these games in third or first person, so like, I don't know, you can do a lot with that. I will be interested in how much they change it, And because Bethesda Game Studios isn't behind it, like, is it going to be outclassed? Like, or are they not is not Virtuous, but is Virtuous going to outclass Bethesda Game Studios in their own game? You know, like, Starfield was such a dud compared to all their other games.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice because my throat's getting all clogged. Yeah, Starfield came out with such a thud. Fallout 76 was such a thud. Like, Fallout 4 was the last game that was really, really popular by them. But even then, like, Fallout 4 had its haters at the time or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I love Fallout 4. But this is, like, the opportunity for the studio to, like, make this game into something that Bethesda Game Studios probably could never do. So I find that
That's
interesting.
true.
It is interesting, though, that there's shadow dropping this in the middle of probably their biggest lineup that they've had in a while.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of Xbox games coming out. We just had South of Midnight.
Yep.
Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation.
Yeah.
This is getting shadow dropped next week, I guess. Doom comes out in 3 weeks. And then Claire Obscura comes out in 2 weeks as well. Ninja Gaiden just came out, you know, like
I guess maybe they think like only the nostalgia people will play it, and
yeah, I don't know if they think. I don't think they get how big this is.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, and also like, there's only so much marketing room. But like,
that's true. Yeah.
When we watch those Xbox showcases, they're only showing 5 games. And every other showcase we watch, it's like 20 or 30 games, like, in rapid pace. So I don't know. This might be what I'm dedicating a lot of time to come next week. Of like, hey, it's coming out. I mean, actually, we might have a podcast even before this comes out, if it comes out Friday.
Oh, right, yeah. It comes out first thing Monday.
Yeah, or Tuesday. People still go by Tuesdays. Tuesday releases are weird. We don't need to do that anymore. But that used to be the thing, was Tuesdays. Yeah, I don't know. I will probably, just because there's nothing else that intrigues me right now, this might be the thing. And Doom, of course, coming, but Doom is not a couple 100-hour RPG.
Right, yeah.
Doom is like maybe 20 hours at most.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Just a run and gun. Yeah.
Yeah, that game does not need to overstay its welcome either. That's another game that they're doing in the open world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And putting like RPG mechanics in it and like quests and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, how much are we going to lean into that? And then you have Claire Obscura, which is a turn-based RPG, but nobody knows how massive. I mean, I'm sure people are playing it right now. Like, I would not doubt that people have that in their hands reviewing it right now.
Yeah.
But there's no word on how long that game's going to be. Nobody said in like interviews or anything like that.
I'm trying to even remember what that game is.
That's the French JRPG that we saw at that last Xbox showcase.
Like it's like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the studio's first game, and we're like, that's crazy that it looks like this for their first game, and their studio's like in that weird house.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder.
They got a piano in the middle of all the computers.
Is that going to be on
It's in Game Pass. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'll be on Game Pass.
That'd be fun to at least try out.
Yeah.
Get into a little.
Yeah. Speaking of Game Pass, what are you playing? When did you play this week?
I've been playing Blueprints.
Yeah, okay, cool. I watched Kyle, the bossman, play it.
Yeah.
I watched it. He put like 13 hours into it over the weekend. So
I've probably put
that much.
I've probably put that much in.
Yeah.
Over last week.
Hell
I was
yeah.
playing because you play it by day.
Right.
So similar to Balatro, I can just do a round. Do a round or two.
Right.
And then pause it. put it to the side. The only difference is it's only cloud. It's only on the cloud.
Yeah, because it's a Series X game.
Right. So if I sit it down for too long, it's like, oh, you've been disconnected from the cloud.
Right.
So.
And then it cancels your run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta.
But runs are like 45 minutes to. I mean, they could be
They can get pretty long. They're very
at the end
unpredictable.
of the game. It's
crazy.
mean,
I'm only probably maybe 30% into the discoveries. I started a notebook.
Yeah. Well, it tells you.
Like an actual
Yeah. Yeah, it tells you. I think it's like the second or third room.
It tells you to write stuff down, and at first I was like, okay, I've played mini games that are like,
yeah,
I've played mini games that tell you, oh, you should write stuff down, and it's because there's like a color combo you're supposed to. I played a lot of puzzle games.
Yeah, once you get to the dartboard and you have to start doing math.
Oh no, the math isn't. Honestly, the math is probably easier than a lot of the other stuff.
You haven't? Have you started doing like square roots?
Yeah. I'm really good at math though.
Oh, okay.
But I played a lot of puzzle games.
I was like square roots and division. And
it's
crazy.
This game is probably like my bread and like the closest thing I've played to like every puzzle game I've played put into like a game. Because there's so much like meta puzzles.
Yeah.
And like just puzzles you don't even realize are puzzles until you get a certain amount of room. There's so much. There's so many layers to it.
Right.
And but when I saw them, they were like, oh, you should write stuff down. I'm like, okay, what? You're going to give me a code I need to remember or something?
Yeah.
And no, there's like so much more. So eventually I was like, oh, yeah, I should be writing stuff down. There's like 3 layers to everything. So now I'm like, really I was literally thinking about it on the way here. I was like thinking of discoveries on the way here. Like, oh shit, I should try this.
Once you get the graph puzzle and you got to start like writing letters inside each of the blocks and stuff like that, you're like, okay. Because Kyle's notebook was like a page long for like 5 or 6 hours. Like it was barely anything. And then you got to one room where it was like, hey, what if every room is a letter?
Right, yeah.
And you gotta make a word.
Right, yeah. Then you're starting to figure that stuff out. And yeah. No, that's what I mean, though. It's like you think, like, oh, this is a nothing room. And then suddenly you're like, oh, this is actually very important. Or, like, I found, like, a secret, like, vault.
Yeah.
Or not a secret vault, like a secret safe in one room. Behind like a photo, because there was like another photo that gives you a hint, and like
is that with the candlestick?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's like so like the candlestick's bent in the photo, and I probably drafted that room like several times.
Right, and then
I just stared at that photo long enough one time, just talking to the old man in the photo because I was going insane.
Yeah.
And then I noticed, like, I was like, oh, why would he paint it like that? And then and it's just like. And you make that kind of discovery, and then and then you get like the outdoor room changes everything, and then once you realize that like there's stuff around the mansion you have to do too,
right?
And
I
was a little upset I couldn't drive the car, but
so you can't do that. Okay.
At least I tried.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's another layer I haven't got to yet, but I got the keys to the car,
right?
And it lets you open the door, but it doesn't let you like drive it, so I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. Maybe that's that. Like I said, that could be a whole nother step.
Yeah, I don't. He. There was 3 specific steps. Oh, it was get the keys, then get the garage, then open the garage door.
Yeah, you have to turn the power on.
Security door. No, you need the utility room to get to the.
Yeah, you need the utility room to turn the power on. Then you have to find the keys.
Right.
And then once you find the keys, have the power, you gotta go to the garage. But you gotta make sure you can make the path to the garage, because that is only you can only craft it in one place.
Right. Is there a gate at the end of the driveway? Like maybe you need to open the gate or something. Like he was trying to do that too, but then I was like, what would you be driving to?
Yeah.
Like you're not escaping the mansion.
There is technically a gate at the end of the path that the car would drive on if it were drivable, there's one on both sides of the mansion.
Right.
So, but I don't, like you said, you're not escaping. So I don't really think there is any real reason to do it other than the garage that's just where it's supposed to go.
Right. And for anybody who doesn't know what Blueprints is a roguelike puzzle game where you are inheriting this mansion from your great uncle, and your great uncle says the only way that you're going to get my inheritance is if you find the 46th room in my mansion that has 45 rooms, and you only have a certain amount of steps each day, and every single time the day changes, all of these rooms are shifting and moving and stuff like that, and the whole board would reset. So that's not like the best way to describe it, but
it's harder to explain it even more than that, because you start off and it just builds upon basically what you said. Yeah,
you think of a chessboard, and each room is a different square of the chessboard, and each room is a step in the steps that you are given. So you have 50 steps at the beginning of the game, and you have all of these doors that could be locked or unlocked, and every time you go to a door to open it, it gives you an option to draw 3 different types of rooms. And there's different colors to these rooms, there's different reasons to these rooms. You can mash rooms together. I don't know if you've done that yet.
No.
You can...
No, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Anyways, play the game. You'll find out.
Yeah.
He's spoiling it for me now, so.
There's a bunch of crazy stuff in the game.
It's a crazy game. It's literally unexplainable because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like you walk into a building and on the outside it looks like a mansion, and then on the inside all the rooms change every day, and you have to create your path to find them. I've touched the antechamber a couple times. But
yeah,
I haven't unlocked it yet.
Yeah.
Or I haven't unlocked the right side. I'll touch the left side, but the other side will be unlocked, or I'll be like set up to get there, and then it'll only give me dead ends, and there's a lot of
right.
So you're like, okay,
which makes me think of like, well, the only way that if I was to program a way around that for in-game, is that there's another door outside somewhere. Is my only thought, is that there's a second door.
Oh, outside, I'm sure maybe,
like
but
a side door kind of thing that you unlock later in the game, because there's like all of these weird things out there on the outside. So like, there's got to be like an expansion somewhere. I'm sure
that there's a few different extra other things. Like I feel like there's more beyond the actual house puzzle itself.
Yeah. Have you been outside?
But yeah, I've explored a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I guess definitely feel like there's more. Because like even the side room, when you first discover the garage and you get like the bonus room,
right,
or whatever, like even that.
Have you found upgrade discs or anything like that?
I found one, yeah.
Yeah.
So like you get stuff like that,
And what did that do for you? When you did that, what did that upgrade?
I think it just upgraded like my spare room or something.
Yeah.
Like, nothing crazy.
What's another cool thing? Have you found a wrench yet?
No.
No. The wrench is cool. That's one tool that if you find it, it makes the consistency of a room either go up or down.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
you can change that, and you can only ever change that when you find the wrench in a run.
Oh, yeah.
So
that
like the garage might have it, the spare room might have it, the utility closet might have it.
Right.
And then sometimes it shows up in the shop as well, in the commissary.
Yeah. Commissary is pretty good at.
Yeah.
That's where I've discovered a lot of like newer items is from the commissary. It's easier to like kind of force a new item to appear there than.
Yeah, I've heard. There's like, I don't know. People there must be like cool ways to like make sure you get a certain item in the shop, or if that's not in the shop, it's in your trade post. Like there's
sure,
like
maybe I don't know. I've avoided watching any like because it's so random. Because it's so random, I've avoided watching any playthroughs or anything because I don't even want like a new room that I haven't seen yet to be discovered. Like I want everything to be. Oh, I just discovered this for the first time. Like I don't even want a room to be spoiled because it's so random. Like they could have different rooms than I have or something, and
right. Yeah, he found 36 rooms. I was like, well, if he's like, like if what I said is, what I said, if you can make new rooms out of rooms, like,
I'm sure there's a limit.
How many rooms is there?
I'm sure there's a limit to that too, but like.
Like what?
Yeah, but after a while, it just gives you the same rooms because you have to find new ways to earn the other rooms, and some rooms you have to craft rooms just to get other rooms and stuff too.
An upgrade disc.
So there's like, there's a lot of steps, but it's fun because, like I said, you can do like a round or two, take a couple notes, put it to the side, do regular stuff.
Yeah.
Do a run or two. The only thing I don't like is that once you're in a run, you have to finish it.
Yeah, but you can finish at any point.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're like I was in the middle of a run yesterday and I still had 3 paths.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But I had to go do something. Right, I couldn't just save and then come back. I had to be like, all right, well, I just got to run through these paths because I'm not going to know. That's 3 different options. Who knows what I could find or discover? It wasn't like I had like one dead end left or something,
Right.
But I couldn't pause and come back into that. I had to either, in my day, possibly risk, a potential, run that gains something or,
Yeah.
But that's my only gripe. Other than that, I've been having, it's fun. It's a good time.
So what I know about this game is that this is also a game that you can put 200, 300 hours in.
Oh yeah, I mean I plan on it, even if it was like easier.
I've heard credits. It's like there's people who've gotten like 15 hours credits, and then like I've heard a couple people say upper 30s for just like because I mean RNG is RNG at a certain point. Like you gotta like. Be smart about your run and like have everything planned out and stuff. Right.
There's literally an objective of getting it first day. That's on the Xbox thing.
Right. That's crazy.
So I mean, I believe that you could literally get credits and if you already know what you're looking for, I imagine you could run in and just like have the exact path down or whatever. But
there's also like so much death and like mystery in this game. Like I don't know. I don't know if my questions are spoilers. Like of what I have. Like
that's why I don't even watch any playthroughs because even the people that are like no spoiler playthroughs like release like this person's related to this person. This is this and this is that. Like, I discovered a family tree yesterday for the first time and that helped solve a little bit. But like. Before that, I didn't think any of that. So I was like,
My question for the beat it in day one is there a way to die in this game and be, like, reincarnated or something like that? Like, this is the kind of level of question I'm asking in this game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, there's some crazy meta level shit that they don't say at all. It's just, like, weirdly implied and, like, things start getting more weird.
Like, and that's why,
Have you seen any things with, like, stars?
I mean, I've been in the observatory.
Okay. Because you said you don't want to know rooms, so I don't want to spoil a room without it, like, I can vaguely mention it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say anything else other than, like, I'm on day 20, and...
Oh, okay. Yeah, day 20.
Which could mean nothing. Depending on what kind of paths I've taken, but...
Yeah, I've heard some people say, like, I'm on, like, day 148. I'm like, whoa, are you just, like, taking 3 steps and then restarting? Or is that, like...
I mean, like, some days, though, literally, I just end up with 3 dead ends almost right away. Like, I'll get 2 blocks up all the way around, and hopefully, maybe I get a room I can do something with, buy something, or at least learn something. Like, that's my main objective, is if I can always open a room that I haven't seen, so I'm at least learning something new if I'm not progressing, so then the story progresses. But even then, that doesn't always happen, because
Have you gotten your fortune read?
Yeah, I've met that guy.
Okay.
That's cool. But I also think that there's the main thing, and then I feel like there's a lot of, not necessarily red herrings, but just like things that don't necessarily matter. Maybe they're connected, but like you could probably get through to the main. You could get to credits without knowing a lot of it. Is what I mean. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of exposition that like.
Did you ever play The Witness?
It just builds. No.
No?
I don't think so.
You would really like The Witness. It's another one of these open world puzzle games. The Witness is a psychological puzzle game where you are going through a very serene world solving maze puzzles.
Oh.
And the maze puzzles get more elaborate and stuff like that, to the point where it's starting with like basic things that are like tablets, like, and totems around the world and stuff like that. And you're like, this is just a random tablet, and I go to these tablets and they're all over the world. And then you start realizing like the clouds kind of look like mazes, and the trees kind of look like mazes. And it starts doing that too. And Blueprints has a lot of that, where like the fingers in each room, what do they mean? The pictures in each room, what do they mean?
Right.
Why is there a certain amount
Is The Witness the one where you're like walking around looking for like certain angles to like solve? Oh, I have played that.
Not the picture game. Is that what you mean? There's that picture game that came out like last year.
No, this one's older, but it's like you're on like an island or something, right? And you're like solving the different puzzles to get like the beams of light to the top of the mountain.
Let me show you.
Top or something.
Let me show you a picture.
I think I have played The Witness.
Because there's also the Talos Principle, which is another one, which that's all like automatons and stuff like that. But that's also another weird psychological puzzle game that's all philosophical and stuff. But it's all laser puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Witness. Jonathan Blow, people don't really like him. He's kind of like one of those, he's like Notch, where he started saying weird shit on Twitter.
Yeah. So like each of these biomes is like a different type of puzzle.
Yeah.
But then you're shooting if you complete the whole biome or whatever, it shoots a beam of light to like the top of this mountain. Right. Which creates like another, like, that's like the final boss puzzle.
Right. And these are the tablets I was talking about.
Yes. Yeah. I've played that. I've played that. I had a friend of mine actually that I'd go over and we'd get really drunk and play that game.
Right. So that's a game that it has credits.
Yeah.
But the credits aren't the game.
Right.
Like, it's the deeper meta level of...
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
Of Blueprints, where like nobody's gotten the platinum yet. It's 0.0% of people have
Right. Well, I mean, it isn't that old either. It's...
Right, but even developers get the platinum. Like, there's... For a 0.0%, it's crazy. Like, nobody in QA has the platinum or anything.
That might be, it might be one of those, like, oh, if you get this, we'll ship you out to something. Kind of like, did you see that thing?
It's doing very well.
What is that new It Takes Two game that just came out? Did you see this thing that Split Fiction did?
Yeah, they're sending them out. Yeah.
Because they beat that, like, super...
The
hard secret level or whatever. Yeah, that's so cool.
That's cool.
That's the coolest thing. Yeah.
Well, that was what I saw that and I was like, well, what's the vacation plan there? Like, what are you flying out for?
Right. Well, they get to meet the team, I think.
Yeah, they get to meet the team. Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I guess it depends on like where they are too. Like,
where
are
is
they like
that
2
team?
states away? Are they like across the world?
I think they're in LA.
You know, like is it? I didn't look up all the details. I thought it was cool enough that they would even
Yeah,
consider
it's
that.
so sick. It is really cool. It reminds me of like those old sweepstakes from like back in the day.
Exactly right. It had such a cool like
Split Fiction
personal old school
Studio.
vibe to it.
Who made
It wasn't, and it wasn't just like, oh, we'll send you, you know, a figurine or something or post it. It's like, no, come meet us.
Come meet us, yeah. I don't know, because, I mean, he's not... Oh, they're in Stockholm.
Oh,
so
okay.
I guess if you're from the States
Sweden.
and you're not from Sweden, like, that would be cool.
I mean, I feel like the
Make a
odds of
weekend
someone
of
from
that.
Sweden doing that is probably low anyways.
Yeah, fuck the Swedes.
No, because they're
Get
just,
good.
I mean, they're small. It's a small
Right.
population compared to, like, you know. So I just, if they were in Sweden, it would just be like, the odds are already against them. And
Yeah.
it would just be like, oh man, I'm right around the corner, you know.
Yeah, the population is tiny. The sweepstakes thing is cool. I guess I just think of like every single games journalist, and it's like, well, they go to video game studios and they can't see like half the shit that they're working on. So
Right.
like touring a video game studio is like how much you're really gonna be able to see.
Right.
You know, like there's gonna be like covers on computers, or they're gonna be like totally cool with you looking at shit and be like, don't take out your phone app.
Right. Maybe they'll just have a whole, like, they'll just have a separate room of, like, this is what you can see. This is everything from the previous game. Here's some cool
Right.
drawings and figurines and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know.
I've heard there's a couple of studios that I've heard are like that. Specifically, like Kojima's studio has the Lumen Room, which is that. It's a giant white room with lights.
Yeah.
And then it has the astronaut statue, like a giant one of those in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
I'll pull up a picture of that because that's a really cool room. But apparently that's like where he goes to meet people and then take photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you just have something like that with like some updated relics of your most recent games and just like walk them through that, give them a cool story, have a sandwich with them, call it a day.
Yeah.
And then let them enjoy Stockholm or wherever.
Fuck, I can't find the studio. Kojima Lightroom. Yeah, I mean, I would love to go visit so many studios too, though. Like, there's plenty of studios that I would like to go visit.
For sure.
That room.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very like Resident Evil.
Right. Yeah, and there's you
scary.
see people and they wear the lab coats in there and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll even show up on the
Look it
camera.
up. Go Google it.
Yeah, go Google it. I'm sure if you're listening to this obscure video game podcast, I'm sure you've seen it before.
Yeah.
There's plenty of studios that I would like to see. Like, I would love to go see From Software, but again, it's like meeting the team is cool. I guess like if they go out to dinner and like make it a whole thing.
Yeah.
But like whatever I think of people going to video game studios, it's really for journalistic reasons. So like I just never thought of like, oh, that's a cool.
I guess if they're willing to put it
That'd
in
be
there, if they're willing to put it in their game, I
Throw 'em a
imagine.
party.
Yeah, they'll probably do something.
That'd be cool. Oh, I hope to see like pictures of what that is. You know, like
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's followed that story.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty big when it happened.
Yeah.
Maybe it just hasn't, nothing's progressed since then or whatever.
yeah, there's probably like liability waivers and shit that they gotta sign and like
Right.
get funding and like do
Yeah.
a whole bunch. But I mean, like it's a video game studio, so I don't know. I don't know how much Split Fiction has sold compared to It Takes Two, but It Takes Two sold enough where that studio is fine for a little bit.
I feel like Split Fiction is like, I mean, I've only heard great things.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely...
But It Takes Two is like a 30 billion seller. Like, it sold so much.
I believe it, and I think Split Fiction will get close, if not surpass it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it already has its popularity. So everyone that's played the other one would be like, oh, if that one's good.
Yeah, I think it should have came out probably... I know, like, everybody wants to get away from GTA 6 and the inevitable cloud that's bringing, I think that would have served a lot more better in September. Because It Takes Two did so well in the award season. Or, like, it won 2020 Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And it sold a lot by that point. I mean, it came out in 2020, so everybody knows what 2020 was.
Right.
Like, video games were really
That
big.
is another reason why it was so popular, is like everyone was already cooped up.
Yeah, but everybody who played those games are in the know of this. Like,
Right.
I feel like even though it's not a direct sequel or anything, like, people know this studio, surprisingly. For them even being such a small studio, people are looking forward to it. So like you said, I would not be surprised if it sold a lot, but I don't think it's a 30 million seller, but we'll see. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
They also do the thing where, like, if you buy the game, one person buys the game and then the second person can play it. And then,
that's
like,
true, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't need to be in the same room for that either. You could just, like, send them the friend code and they can only play it with you, but they're still able to play it.
Yeah, and that's the whole...
Yeah. That game did very well. It Takes Two, or Split Fiction reviewed very highly too. I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about it as much as It Takes Two was, but maybe because maybe the gimmick has kind of worn off, I guess. Like, not in a bad way though. Like, it's just, this is what that studio does, so it's what we expected from them.
Right.
So, like, but It Takes Two, that was the second time that they had committed to that bit, and, like, it was the first time it really hit home.
Yeah.
Like, A Way Out was okay, and it did fine, but it
I feel like A Way Out wasn't advertised as well. Like,
No,
even though I know...
It was very small.
Even though I know it's a 2-player, I can't imagine... I don't think I've ever looked it up, so I can't really picture a single bit of gameplay.
Yeah.
But also, I had no idea that it was a 2-person only game.
Right.
I had no clue until we started talking about it. So I feel like that one kind of almost slipped under the radar.
Right.
And it wasn't... I feel like It Takes Two... I mean, it's in the name.
Yeah.
Literally. But it definitely forced it. They forced this is what this is.
Yeah. And same thing with Split Fiction. You kind of get the idea, but like, once you see the logo, it comes full circle.
And I think, they do a good job at, like, all right, you like this, you liked It Takes Two, this is that, but, like, with a fresh, different take on it.
Yeah, a different art style.
And we'll try to keep that emotional aspect too, maybe.
Right.
But
yeah, that's what I have heard about this game, is, like, the writing isn't as good, but it's like one of those things. Is it because you're playing as two bad writers, or is it because Hazelight might not be as good as writing stories?
Right.
As what? Because, like, It Takes Two kind of have that as well, where people are kind of like, whatever about the story. Like,
yeah.
It's all about the fun times you have with the person.
Right. I mean, I thought the story for It Takes Two was decent.
Yeah.
And you know, they found a good subject that made sense for, like, partners to
I think A Way Out is garbage story.
Again, I literally have no idea. I'd like to play it just to kind of experience it.
Yeah.
But again, I can't imagine two people breaking out of jail.
Right.
There's only
and
so
it's
many.
Super self-serious.
Yeah.
But every single bit in that game is just a movie scene of a different Prison Break movie.
Oh, we did talk about that. That's
so
right.
Like,
yeah.
You have your Shawshank Redemption scene where they're crawling through the shit tunnels. And
right.
they're like, they use each other's backs to climb up legs, and they do that bit. And then there's the Scarface bit at the end of the game where, like, they're on, like, a remote island in a giant mansion, and then dude's like, oh, I forgot what the line is. Something motherfucker, the world is a pussy waiting to get fucked. Like, he says the line.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that is the line. The world's just a giant pussy. Okay, wait to get fucked. And then
so graphic.
Yeah,
it says that.
that's what Tony Montana.
That guy has a mouth on him.
Yeah,
Someone should call his mom.
Giant mounds of cocaine. But that's the whole bit of that game is that it's just every single
it's just different
movie scene.
Yeah, it's just like a not a montage, but a nod.
Yeah,
a nod to the Prison Break.
Right, and then the end game, the ending of that game comes into a gigantic conclusion of like, you know, it's emotional and you're supposed to feel something for both of these characters. You're attached to the character that you're playing, but like by the end of it, I was like, I don't like either of these two people because they're not people. They're just like characters from different movies now. Like it feels weird.
You didn't build an actual story. You just clipped a bunch of other stories together. Right.
And then in between, it's like, well, we're different, and it's very weird.
Which is kind of what Split Fiction is.
Yeah.
But it's their own original stories that they just clip together. And it's like they just can't have one continuous story. They have to just clip a bunch of small ones. Yeah. It's so funny.
And that's kind of like the idea of Split Fiction too, where you're bouncing between like fantasy and science fiction, and like you're going. I mean, they turn through gameplay bits as well. That's like to keep it fresh. It does the platformer thing of like every 30 seconds, every 2 minutes, like you throw a new mechanic in there or a new type of gameplay, which is I think that's super refreshing. A Way Out does not do that. No. A Way Out is like very much the same game all the way through, and then sometimes they throw in a mini game that you can do, but you don't have to do. But like it's like, oh, there's a basketball hoop over there, so now I can go shoot 3-pointers.
Nice.
Let's see how many 3-pointers I can get. Or like there's a dartboard. Will you want to play darts real quick?
Of course.
Yeah, there's stuff like that in A Way Out in between the story stuff.
Right.
But yeah, It Takes Two does a little bit better where it's like constant gameplay, it's fast, it's refreshing, and they don't need to rely on like a little mini game. It's just like it is the game,
right?
You know,
everything's a mini game.
Yeah, and Split Fiction does some really cool stuff. Like everybody knows the hot dog scene of like they're rolling around as hot dogs on the grill.
Right.
And
right. It's a lot of
weird
just
physics and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's cool. The Blueprints is definitely a game that I've wanted to get into. I mean, like, roguelikes are so hard for me to get into, but, like, I love watching people play it. I think there's a super interesting thing to uncover there. I'd imagine localizing that game is a fucking pain in the ass. I don't know if that game is out in any other languages, but there's so many word puzzles and like weird writing.
I can't. It might just have to be a very like English specific game. I mean, just because of all of that. When you
start having to relate letters to rooms and rearrange rooms and stuff like that, that's crazy. I don't understand. And then also writing guides for that game. Like, there's every single day there's a new guide for that game, and I feel bad for that person who has to, like, all the upgrade discs are fine. That's finally a guide that I saw today, and I was like, damn, that took a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still fresh, so I feel like it'll be a while till it's one of those games that they're probably going to add stuff to.
From what I know, that reviewers have had this game for, like, I mean, it's probably been a month now.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, out of the guides team, I'm surprised that it's taken this long, but, like, also I'm not, now that seeing this game.
Yeah. I love it, because it's one of those games that, like, isn't gonna just reveal itself. You know?
Right.
Like, you really have to...
Like, even if you have guides, like, you still gotta, like, RNG it.
Even the guides that they give you in-game are, like, only vaguely helpful.
Right.
So everything, But, yep, and then other than that, I played a little bit of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, just trying to keep it fresh.
I gotta get into it. I need to play it.
You should. You absolutely should.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep it fresh, and then I have to help. It's funny because Kenya was like really far ahead of me, and now it's the opposite. Where I'm like really far ahead of her. She hit like a wall, and I've had to like kind of.
Yeah, Kyle hit a wall too.
Yeah.
Got Kyle roommate Kyle, not Kyle Bossman. Kyle.
Yeah,
I watched Bossman Kyle play the whole thing. That was really fun. But roommate Kyle, yeah, he hit a wall, the super hard wall, and then he like locked himself in.
Oh no!
And he wasn't able to like escape, so he like I think he deleted like 3 hours of progress. Or something
gosh!
Like that.
I mean, sometimes that's why I quick save like almost up to everything. Now.
Yeah,
I'm so paranoid. I'm like, oh, I'm about to open up a chest, quick save. I ain't getting fucking attacked. Like everything.
Yeah,
But also, I talk my way out of like 90% of fights.
Right.
Like I rarely ever fight in this game, which is funny because a lot of my characters are pretty beefy. But I'm just like, if I can talk my way out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how Kyle plays those games. He was definitely in combat, and he was like getting his ass handed to him. But that's like a whole other mindset as well for those games. It's like. Diplomatic or not.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't streamline them either, because if you do all the side stuff, you get so OP with just like souped out with relics and shit. Like every character has unnecessary buffs, and you're just like, oh, now try to fuck with me. You know?
Yeah. There's some wild ass shit in that game too. Damn. I've been wanting to play that game. I don't know why I haven't yet. It's just backlogs, and then there's so many old games that I just like, ooh, that's $10. I want to play that.
Yeah.
I'll go to Game Exchange, and then I see like BMXX or something like that, and I'm like, ooh, I've never played that before, and I just don't play any new games, and then
I know it's the never-ending battle of like new versus old, and I
gotta get on the new game train again. And if Oblivion Remake comes out or whatever, it's still a fucking old ass game. Too.
I was gonna say, is that technically new or old at that point?
it'll be relevant again. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could count that as a new game now. Yeah, I've been playing Demon Souls Remake. That game's still hard as shit. I'm grinding off stream to like get grass, and then I'll go back to recording. And then I'll go through an hour, eat through all my grass, and be like, well, I'm not going to grind for grass. There's no Estus Flask in this game. It's all grass-based as you're healing. So you got to buy grass and then eat it. And then you're like, oh, well, shit, I had 50 grass, but now it's fucking gone. So now I got to go grind for grass. And grass costs 400 souls a piece. So
it's a lot of just grinding.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to just do that in my own time, and if I would have more fun with that, because I do want to beat Demon Souls Remake for myself, but doing it on video, it's always nice. I want to be able to, like, play it, and I always feel bad when I play games and not record it, like, it's just what I've done for so long at this point. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things I've been battling with, and then it's like, well, what am I gonna play in between? I guess while I'm grinding.
Right, you gotta save the grinding games for like streaming.
Yeah.
Because then at least while you're grinding, you can bullshit with chat or bullshit in general, and then just use that for clips and stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because when I do it on video, like for YouTube and stuff, I just get so antsy because either I'm editing it out or I'm keeping it in, and then I'm just having to talk over like repetitive bullshit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing is like games like that where there's a lot of like in between time. I'm like, okay, I could save this for like streaming.
Yeah.
So if I get into streaming, this would be a good like chat game.
Right.
You know.
That's why I've been saving platinums for, because like I would love to have the Bloodborne platinum, but like I'd rather do that on stream, and because I've already beaten Bloodborne on the channel, like I don't need to beat Bloodborne again and then again for the third time to get the final ending. So it'd be more fun to do that on stream. But same thing with Elden Ring. Elden Ring, it's like get all the endings and get all of the rings and stuff like that. It's always get everything, but it's like, well, I don't want to do that on video. Just grind all that shit out and like go. I do use guides on the channel, but like it's never like 100%ing something. It's like, let's look up the weakness to this boss, or like, like, oh, I'm stuck on a puzzle, like, let's get a hint. It's never like, oh, I'm trying to fill out a checklist kind of thing. And so I saved a lot of that for streaming, but I don't know. I want to start like actually like Twitch streaming this year, and then that will just be what is going up on the channel at some point. But
yeah, because then you could just use Twitch streaming as your recording, and then just upload that as a separate video on top of the
and then at some point I'll get Twitch streaming going and just upload the VODs, and then at some point I'll just be streaming to both YouTube and Twitch is the plan. And that's like a lot of people do that nowadays, so like that shouldn't be too hard.
To TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, they'll do it all three.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. Remember when people were streaming to Facebook? People still do that.
I think you can do it through YouTube though.
Oh really?
Or like re-upload it from YouTube through Facebook or something.
And people still watch streams. Did people ever watch streams on Facebook?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some people, that just like Facebook was their only thing or something.
So I remember when Facebook got busted for like boosting views and stuff like that, like botting views.
I believe that,
Yeah, there was like videos were like 23 million views for like.
Yeah.
And then you go on YouTube and that same video has like 1,000 views. And you're like, what?
The only lives I ever see pop up anymore are like the competitive ones, like Rocket League and Marvel Rivals. Those are really the only lives I ever see. Sense. I never see anyone playing stuff. Like Baldur's Gate or something like by themselves or whatever. It's like all competition based.
Because Facebook used to have like a gaming page.
They might still
have that anymore. Maybe they do. But I mean, YouTube has a gaming page still, but YouTube gaming is still not. I don't know. It's like exists. It exists, but it doesn't exist. But like they were pushing YouTube gaming super hard back in the day.
Yeah.
I feel like even live streams aren't pushed as hard as what they should be. Like live streams for the people that I normally watch are pushed.
Yeah.
But like I get a shit ton of random like recommended, but it's never like live streams. Like for live streams I have to go to
I have to actually go to
I have to go live. All the way to like this more feed and then go to live.
Yep.
And then it's like,
which I personally
why is this recommend? When do I ever watch the news?
Those are for like businesses and stuff. Like my diner job uses live we'll watch the news in the morning.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there's like a couple live shows that do like old BET shows and stuff. So I'll watch that. Like I put BET on in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
Because it's like the old like early morning sitcoms and stuff.
Right.
Like the Wayne brothers and shit. So.
Yeah, there's been a couple of streams where I have watched where it's like reruns of like, oh, it's Christmas time. Here's the 1993 Adult Swim Christmas special.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Lives. Yeah. So like live. I guess there's a lot more than just the video game. So like you could just watch like the news, sports,
right?
Old TV shows, stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I'm
Twitch
sure that yours is probably mostly. Mine is probably mostly gamers too. Yeah.
Right. That the recommended was like all fucked though for me.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. There's like none of this stuff is stuff that I would watch. Like.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even paying attention that you were in the live tab or the recommended tab. Yeah.
And then.
Well, you also don't use this enough either.
No, but I'm on YouTube constantly. It's like
That's
I don't
true.
know
you
why.
think it would be able to format from your regular algorithm?
Yeah, because all these other pages do.
Right.
Like
it's like they're just pushing. They're just trying to push that stuff.
Yeah.
Probably.
You want to talk some Nintendo real quick before before we run out of things, before it leaves my mind, we should talk about it. We saw the Direct the last time we spoke.
Oh yeah.
And we can reflect on that a little bit. And do you remember anything from that? Do you have any thoughts? No, it's been 2 weeks out.
I just remember it being expensive.
Yeah. You remember how much it was when we...
It was like $600 or something, I think. I'm not sure the exact amount.
It was $449 was the price that they released after the Direct. They didn't show the price in the Direct.
Yeah.
If you remember. It took like 30 or 40 minutes of us talking until they finally released the price.
Oh, right.
And it was $449.99. The camera is $49.99. The Pro controllers are $79.99. The Joy-Cons are $89.99. And the big kicker was Mario Kart. Mario Kart is $79.99.
Right.
Mario Kart price was not announced until after we had finished the podcast. It was like, as soon as you left, I messaged you, Mario Kart is $80.
Yeah, you sent me like a screenshot or something.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up Switch 2 games. We can just start by all of the game prices that were shown at that point. Nintendo Switch 2 games. Ka-chow. So we got Mario Kart World coming in at $80. The Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming in at $70.
Nice. Great.
The Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 edition will be $70. Kirby Air Riders does not have a pricing yet, I don't think. Hyrule Warriors will be $70. Dragon Drive will be... I don't know how much that is. That's not on here. Welcome Tour was the paid for in-game manual, is what people are describing it.
Yeah.
It's going to be $10.
Oh, it's $10 now?
It's $10. I think at the time people were saying like $6.50 or something like that. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Even $10 is too much.
$10 for the manual for the console.
Yeah, for a museum. Just because it has a bunch of facts and stuff in it. So does Astrobot.
Right. This doesn't have any of the Switch 2 editions. That's what I wanted to bring up. Okay, here's Best Buy. Best Buy is gonna come in clutch. That's a limited edition. That just scared the shit out of me. That's $100, but it's a limited edition. That makes more sense. Okay, Mario Kart World is $80. Rune Factory, $70. I think that was only shown in the Japan Direct. Daemon X Machina, $70. Story of Seasons, The Grand Bazaar, will be $60. AI, the Somnium Files thing, $50. Street Fighter 6, $60. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. Launched at $59.99. Your Nintendo Switch 2 edition will now cost $70.
Nice.
It will cost
upgraded graphics.
It will cost $10 more. A game that will almost it's the better part of a decade old now, you know. Bravely Default, the remake that they showed off, is gonna be $40. Super Mario Party Jamboree launched at $59.99 on the Nintendo Switch console. They've added Jamboree TV as a upgraded DLC pack for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is basically a whole new Super Mario Party game.
Yeah.
I don't know we don't know how expansive it will add to this thing, but it's a new mode.
Right.
$79.99. $80 for that thing.
Yeah, they're all $80. That sucks.
Tears of the
Nintendo
Kingdom
needs to calm down.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom was $70 for the Nintendo Switch. It rocked the world. They're like, oh, we're making Switch 1 game $70 now? If you want the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, that'll be another $10.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the Price is Right in
$79.99. Kirby the Forgotten Land plus Star-Crossed World, $80.
But if you own it, you only have to pay $10.
No. Those are $30 expansions. Is what they're charging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only ones that are confirmed to be $10 are the Zelda ones.
Yeah.
But also if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, you get those as well. And that's the only ones on the Nintendo Switch Online thing is the Zelda upgrades. Anything else is paid for.
Nice.
So your Star-Crossed Path Kirby DLC will be $30, I think is what they're saying.
Wow. Well, I already probably wasn't going to get it, but
it's crazy.
Now I'm definitely not.
Now what if I told you none of that was real? What if I told you...
Then I'd be really upset.
The next day, Nintendo said that they're going to hold off on pre-orders because the day of the Switch 2 reveal, our President Donald Trump released a 145% tariff on China.
Yeah.
Where do you think these things get made?
Okay, so what is...
That's crazy.
So is it... So then, okay. So I don't understand any of that.
Yeah, so a lot of.
So we just can't buy them right now. Then is that what you're talking about, or?
Yeah, so pre-orders were supposed to go up on April 9th, I think. They have delayed now pre-orders in both Canada and the U.S. Because of the tariffs. I don't know. From what I understand is that a lot of the manufacturing of Switch has moved out of China. But, a lot of chips are still made in China.
Right.
A lot of Switch manufacturing now, a lot of Nintendo-specific manufacturing is now done in Vietnam. But along with Trump's tariffs, there was it's not just China. China's the big one. The real kicker is what happened 3 hours ago. Because that's a lot more now. Yeah. But at the time, it was 145% is what he was saying. And then Japan, Vietnam, and a couple of other Asian countries were like 25 or 10% or whatever. And every day it's changing since then. Every day there's a new world leader and somebody's kissing Trump's ass. Somebody's paying him, It was like, oh, we're not going to put tariffs on cell phones now for some reason. We're going to... Everything in China is tariffed besides cell phones because cell phones are very important to us. And I forgot how much Apple gave into the Trump campaign, but they gave a lot of money to Trump's campaign. Right. And they were like, hey, remember that money we gave you? It's really messed up. Right. So he had a meeting with the Apple CEO and stuff, and they were like, we worked out a deal, and now cell phones are fine. Yesterday, China basically disavowed the US dollar, and this morning Trump announced a 245% tariff on all Chinese products. Nice. What the fuck? Wow. What? So your $449 console, who knows? Yeah. Who knows? We're looking at maybe 700 is what we're thinking now. On top of that, PlayStation just raised the price on their consoles. Not in the United States, but everywhere else. They announced yesterday that it was going up like another $70 or something like that. Batshit. Like, batshit stuff. The world market aside, I mean, I feel bad for Nintendo because you kind of just fucking... I mean, we knew this was happening. Like, the date was announced that this was all going to go in effect on the same day that they decided to do this thing. And at some point, you have, like, all of these physical events that they're doing at the same time that you can't delay this shit. Because you have floor space that you're renting out. And you have, like, people that you're paying on payroll.
Right.
And, like... all those people have to, like, man the booths and stuff. You're flying people out to New York and LA to, like, run these events, too.
Yeah.
Doug Bowser in the middle of all this was like, yeah, we had no plan. We didn't have a plan for the tariffs. We didn't know this was going to happen.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
What? I don't remember the exact interview. Who did it? I'll look it up real quick. The Doug Bowser interview. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'll basically just spit out some of the facts verbatim as we go. Was it the Washington Post? Oh no, it was CNBC. Doug Bowser has done quite a few interviews now, but the one that I'm talking about is from CNBC. It's Teddy Farkas and Stephen Kovac are the people, I think it says. I've never read off CNBC. They don't have, like, an author. They just have, like, two people's names, and it doesn't say if they authored or edited it or anything. Switch 2, including bigger screen controllers. Switch 2 hit store shelves June 5th for $449.99, up from $300 from the original Switch. Nintendo on Friday said it would delay pre-orders for the device following Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Oh, okay, so it's just... It wants me to watch the rest of the video to even pull out any other information. But yeah, basically, it's like, yeah, we didn't have a plan for it, so we were just gonna play this by ear, I guess.
I mean, sometimes that's all you can do, you know?
Right. What they have done, Nintendo has done a couple of things in preparation for the Switch launch, because of how shitty the PS5 launch was, and how big the Switch 1 launch was. Two things is that they have the Nintendo pre-order program. So if you are an NSO member, you can sign up through them to get into their email thing, and you have to have an NSO account and up to 50 hours of playtime, and that's a way to pre-order through them without having to, like, get botted out by scalpers or anything like that. Like, you can guarantee a pre-order through them, but pre-orders are delayed right now, so who knows when that's gonna happen, or how much they're gonna go up. You just can't do it right now. I think the UK pre-orders people have started to be able to pre-order. The second thing is that in Japan, the yen is very weak right now. American money goes very far in Japan right now. So in order to stop scalpers from over there, they are making a cheaper version of the console. That'll be $300 in US money. I forgot what the yen breakdown of that is. But it's region locked, and it will only be able to play Japanese games in Japanese.
Wow.
And that's how they're doing that. because I mean that's their home country. So like, you know, they got to protect that the most.
Right.
But that's what they're doing to help with that, just to keep that market sustainable. Versus the U.S. where everybody's gonna battle it out theoretically. But again, you can go through Nintendo and get your pre-orders. Like if you are a Nintendo fan, and I don't have an NSO account right now, but like I definitely have 50 hours of playtime from like a couple of years ago, and I could just get an NSO account. I can't remember the last time I played on a Switch. But I definitely have 50 hours of logged playtime on my account. Yeah, so they do have a couple of things, but like it will be a bloodbath. Like June 5th is soon.
Yeah.
And it's crazy we still don't know the price of this thing, or if it's really the price of this thing. It seems like games are set. I don't think they're going to change the price of games unless if they change it down. Nintendo, another thing of that, the $80 games, I think that this was more of the Washington Post status, but this goes back to 90s Nintendo. This, back in the day of cartridges of N64, it was more common for games to be all over the place in pricing.
Yeah.
Where I think even Donkey Kong 64 was $80 at launch.
Right.
Because memory was a lot more expensive back then.
Right.
And to get anything crammed in there was crazy. Let alone like bigger games. And once we figured out that we could shove more into it, Nintendo had to make hardware that was bigger and stronger. But they had to do it in a way that wouldn't change the console. So they found out like you had to get like the Rumble Pack or whatever, and like there was a couple of upgrades for the N64 to make it work. But these cartridges would have more data on them, and they would cost more because of it. I don't know if Conker's Bad Fur Day was one, but Donkey Kong was one. Perfect Dark was another one, I'm pretty sure. Turok was pretty expensive at the time, I remember. Yeah. But like even back then, like Nintendo would play the field a lot more. Like it would be some games were $40 and some games were $80. Right. And it was like all based on development time and how many people worked on it and then how much memory on it. Doug Bowser does cite that and talks about how that's the new strategy going forward is right. Like they want to do the math of like, oh, well, this is a more popular thing and we're putting more time into it and more money into it.
That makes sense. I mean,
it does. I think it sets a very bad precedent, though.
Yeah.
Is what I would get to it. I don't.
Yeah, it'll hurt indie developers because then, like, no matter how good their game is, it'll give like the impression that they're cheaper because they are
right.
There's no
because they're smaller.
Right. So yeah, it could hurt the smaller worker or whatever, especially if it's taken on by everyone. But.
Right, and I mean, we have the market for that, right? Like we have Balatro that costs $3 on mobile phones, and then we have now Mario Kart World that costs $80 on the Switch too. We've always had the lower market and the higher market for sure, but saying that more time in development is the reason why something should cost more sets a very dangerous precedent because all games take a long time to make.
Right.
Not all games take a team of people to make, but all modern AAA games do.
The big ones, yeah.
And then we already have a bloat problem in games. So now we're really testing the theory of dollar per hour gameplay.
Yeah,
And we already have a problem with like the Assassin's Creeds and stuff like that of like these games are just too fucking big and nobody wants to people want to play them but barely anybody finishes them and then a lot of people are turned away from it because it's so big.
Right.
So now because it's so big we think it's mediocre or saying it's mediocre but now you want to charge us more money on top of it. And I know Assassin's Creed isn't charging us more money now, but the next game or the next game.
If this continues, it could lead to that for sure.
GTA 6 has been rumored. It's not really a rumor, but analysts have been saying and hoping for GTA to cost over $100 when it comes out.
Yeah. I could see that.
I could see it too. I think GTA is too big to fail. But you're starting to ask a lot of people and how much they're willing to put up with of mediocrity to how much money and luxury you get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, you start putting out 10 Assassin's Creeds a year, that's $800, right? If we're going off the GTA metric.
Yeah.
And each of them are reviewing at a 7. And they're fine, but they're not great. Right? But you're paying $100 for a subpar experience when we talk about the backlog problem. Well, I have a memory of when games were great. You know, I have 1,000 other games that I can play, but also I have the remembrance of paying, $50 for some of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Right.
And now you're selling me $100 for mediocrity. And, there's only so much people will put up with in a hobby, especially with games that are free to play and they're already sucking up all the air. Yeah, it's a very strange way to go about it. Like, I know money is worth less now. Like, and people's time is worth more now. And stuff like that. Like, people are stretched thin in their wallets, too. I really wonder if people are going to speak with their wallet. Nintendo hasn't really ever landed a sequel console launch. And in fact, up until the Wii, they were like pretty much on a downward trajectory. From the NES to the SNES to the GameCube, or the N64 to the GameCube to the Wii. And the Wii was the Wii, but then you had the biggest downfall ever in games with the Wii U. And then the Switch comes out. Switch is the best-selling console ever. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. But now I'm wondering if we even get to a third of that. Like, a lot of this is showing signs of what the Xbox One launch was with like the Kinect and like all of these weird things that are on the side, but also like we're asking for more money, more subscriptions and stuff like that, but not a lot of games at launch, but like you can play all your old games at launch.
Yeah. I feel like they should have just stuck with the first one. Yeah. Maybe, made an updated version of it or something.
Right. Because they talked about, there was rumors of a Switch Pro forever.
That's what they should have done. Just took maybe,
Maybe. And like, that's... Doug Bowser also does the fuck... Oh my god. I wish I could pull out the quotes, like have a written version of that interview. He, on top of surge pricing and stuff like that, he talks about, like, I don't remember what I was going to say. My mind just totally blanked, I'm not even lying. I was like, Doug Bowser, and then a wipe. That's crazy. But that hurt my brain. Like, no shit. What was I saying?
I don't know. It was your thought.
Something about Doug Bowser beforehand. Fuck. That's crazy. I just had like the biggest like brain fart.
Wow.
I took a nap right before here, and yeah. He talks about surge pricing and stuff like that, but he I don't know. Oh, he talked about like it is what the was it Don Matrick? Don Matrick of Xbox at the time, on the Xbox One launch. He was the CEO at the time before Phil Spencer. He talked about having a console for the people who don't want the new one. He's like, we have the old one. That's for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign up for the new one. And I really think that's what's about to happen.
I guess that's totally true, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people are saying nobody competes with Nintendo, and Nintendo's in their own bracket, but Nintendo's finally trying to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that games are in a very weird spot right now because, I don't know, it's even with PlayStation raising the prices, it's the same thing for them. Like, we could look at the PS5 over the last 5 years. It'd be like, well, it used to be, we used to take away money from these things.
Right.
And, like, the PS5 hasn't been... The PS5's not the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the PS4. It's not the PS3. Like, the PS5 and first party or anything, like, exclusives, like, has been very lackluster. I mean, there's been plenty of great games. That's not what I'm trying to get at. Like, there's always great games, but like, there's so much bloat and mediocrity, and so much people have time for and stuff. And the great games only come out every so often now because games take so long to make and stuff like that. That the PS5 isn't worth it, in my opinion. Like, at a certain point, it's not worth it if you're paying for, you know, $500, $600, $700. Like, people were paying $900 when this thing was scalped.
Yeah.
People are paying close to that in some regions now, just from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. I could not imagine what that costs in Brazil right now.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be upwards of like $2,000.
Wow.
And yeah. I mean, that's why Brazil's always like 10 years behind us, is because it costs so much money for tech down there. It was like the PS2 was well over $1,000 there. And that was in 2001.
Wow, that's crazy.
But at the time, I mean, people talk about the luxury, the cost of luxuries going down, and the cost of food going up, and blah, blah, blah. At the time, it wasn't uncalled for a TV to cost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But I was looking at Walmart yesterday, and there's a 65-inch flat screen for like $300.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's insane. Like,
well, we figured it out. We're not using
right.
It's easier to ship and produce.
Right. And you want to talk about the real political shit about inflation and stuff like that. We don't have bananas figured out. That was something I made a post about recently. I was like, half of our bananas are grown in China.
Yeah.
Bananas are about to be like $12 a bundle here.
Well, I guess it depends. Either there'll be more money, or we'll have less bananas because we'll only have American bananas.
Bananas aren't grown here, period.
We don't have bananas in Hawaii or anything?
No.
No? Oh, then we just won't have bananas.
Yeah.
Or they will be really expensive.
It's like half the world's banana population comes from China.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And then the other half is like 7 other countries.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just something as simple as that. And then you think of all of the things that bananas are in.
Yeah.
And then you start going from that, and then, like, rice. I mean, rice is a little bit more common, but like fruit is the big thing, where fruits and vegetables that are more regional and stuff like that. And then now, because things are so globalized, like, we've relied on all of that kind of chain reaction in all of these systems and stuff like that, where like it's not gonna crumble. It's just all gonna cost more.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the...
And then luxuries, of course, because
the issue, I guess.
Yeah, because of all of this is made in China on top of that, that will also cost more. And people are like, well, luxuries used to cost more, and now it costs less, and food costs more, but now it's just all gonna cost more, and now we're all fucked. I don't know. That's my rant on tariffs, and waking up to 245% is crazy.
It all costs more because the 1% says so.
Right, which is another insane thing.
It's not like it's literally the same banana, but someone decided one day that that banana should be $4 more because they have control of it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it was so crazy to see, like, this Chinese dude who's, like, I don't even remember who he's in, like, high up in political wise, but he was speaking, like, fluent English, being like, we don't need America. China's existed for 5,000 years and will exist 5,000 years after them. Like,
right.
It was like, yeah, no shit. No fucking shit. I don't understand what people... I don't know. The trade war thing is insane, especially because we've had this shit figured out for so long. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's a lot more complicated than just, I give you this for that. Because everything that they give has 100 strings attached to it now. Because of advertising and money and... Yeah. Nothing as simple as the advertising. To be, it's not, you know, it's not like goat for 3 bags of rice anymore. It's, this goat has 40,000 Instagram followers, so I need 3 bags of rice, and also the promise that this goat will be taken care of for the rest of its life. You know, it's like there's so many things attached to everything now. Yeah. So, believe me, I can't even fucking perform comedy without, you know, someone's balls being tickled.
Right. So. Yeah. Yeah, I can... dude, playing, like, shows and stuff in a band used to be, like... It used to be hard, but, like, it wasn't that hard. But, like, stuff like that, I wonder how much just, like, bullshit is, like... There's just so many strings attached with everything, and then everybody wants something for it. Like, I get we're all trying to, like, live and shit, but, like, we had it figured out for a while. Like, things were pretty good, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, but no one's ever... there's no such thing as... It's too much of a good thing. It's going to be bad eventually.
Right. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those...
We had it figured out when we were half the population as well. Right. Now we're, like, fucking bursting at every seam. No matter what kind of strategy we have, we don't have the nothing to keep up with it.
Right.
Especially after COVID.
You're right. I mean, and then the political thing with that is, like, we have so much dead land in the United States that, like, why do we have millions of people in New York City when there's, like, hundreds of acres of land in New Mexico that are just dead and desolate with, like, no infrastructure or anything? And it's like, well, because all of the money's here, and it's like, well, I don't know, maybe we should put some jobs somewhere else, man. I don't know. And, like, I get that's the idea of, like, these tariffs is, like, it's supposed to incentivize more corporations going to America so they can build in-house and stuff like that, but that infrastructure isn't there. So, like, the idea of, like...
He's just trying to force it. He's hoping that if it's a big enough leap, people will just be like, well, we gotta do something or we'll drown. He's basically, like... he's throwing you in the deep end of the pool.
Right. And, like, in things that take it's not like months.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to set up a chip manufacturer and, like, get it going and stuff like that and reliably, it's like 5 or 6 years of development
for sure.
time.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, dude. And then you talk about, like, plastics and shit like that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, planting decorations for a house that you haven't bought yet or something. Like, you're buying a giant ass dining room table, but you don't have the house yet. Like, kind of thing. Or, you know, it's on the way from eBay, but, like, I don't get the keys. It's 2 years from now. Right? We got to figure out what to do with the table. Let's hope it doesn't rot in the rain. Fuck. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not even, like, super political. Like, of course, I don't like any of the political shit going on. But, like, at some point, it's not even political. It's just, like, idiotic. It's, like, there's... it's the media literacy thing. It's, like... It's understanding the world around you. It's, like... Not even just literacy and history. Like... Understanding patterns. And, like, maybe he does, and maybe that's why it happens. But, like, fuck, dude. We have ways to, like, fucking do something, and nobody's doing shit.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about any of it to even have an opinion on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Without sounding ignorant, because I literally don't know.
Right. I'm sure I sound ignorant.
Like, anything about it. So, I mean, you know, people have negative and positive opinions on the things, but the amount of research I feel like it requires to really, truly know what's going on, especially to develop, like, an unbiased opinion. That's, like, what I feel like is really important that a lot of people don't have in the politics spectrum is like an unbiased. They lean so hard one way or the other, and they refuse to even listen to the opposite end just because they think all of it's, I don't know. It's just, you should never disqualify everything from any sort of group of individuals. Like, you should take everything. And that just happens so often that, like, I don't know. It's just, I think, it's just not worth it.
It comes out
for me.
It comes out with the antagonism and stuff like that you see from both sides, for sure.
Right. Like, if someone says something about a certain opinion, you know, I'll ask them what they feel about the other side. But if it's immediately all negative, then I won't even bother continuing the conversation, because I'm like, well, then clearly even if your opinions are all one way, if you can't even play devil's advocate to the other side, then it's not worth.
Yeah. With this stuff, though, the money trade war side thing, I don't think there's a devil's advocate for that, where it's just like, that's just how it's gonna happen. And, like, every single day it's just playing it by ear, figuring out what he's gonna say, hate the dude or not. That's just how he rolls. And
see, with that kind of stuff, it's just, you know, at this point, decades of compounding.
Yeah, he's talked about tariffs since the 80s.
Debt and stuff.
Like, there's clips of him being like, we should tariff China, and blah, blah, blah. And now he can finally do it.
And it's just, I mean, there's just been since the beginning, we've just created so much money stuff that...
Right. And we're going to print more money out of it.
Who knows what this really is.
Right.
Who knows what kind of conspiracy he's chasing? You know, he could be chasing something from when he was a child, and it's completely irrelevant now. Who knows? Like, there's
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's
right
beyond me. It's not even in my realm of interest. I don't even make jokes about politics just because that changes the room so suddenly.
The conspiracy would be crashing the stock market so you can buy out stocks, so when it inevitably goes back up, you have more millions of dollars. That would be the conspiracy right now that I would be throwing out, is that we're doing all this shit to be able to buy as much foreign stocks as possible to be ahead of everybody else in like 10 years.
Yeah.
When everything inevitably resets and stuff like that. Because that's how these things do work. That is the pattern. It's like every decade or so there's like a life-altering event that changes like the whole way stocks work and stuff like that. For like, I mean, we just had COVID recently, which was a big one, but like the financial crisis of 2008 and like, you know, like the 90s and stuff like that were a totally different time. There was a financial crash in the 70s. Like, these things do happen at a pattern, and it's always like somebody at the top causing it. And there's other factors in there too, but a lot of it is because of the legislation at the top changes a few things, which means that people can't do a certain things, which makes things cost more or less.
Yeah, it all trickles down.
Right. But the whole idea of capitalism is that money is supposed to trickle down instead of trickling up. You know? The whole idea of like this trickle down process is that all the money funnels to the top, so it rains down back. Right. But now the top is asking for more money. But people aren't getting paid more money. Yeah. There's a very weird thing that's about to happen. I don't know what it is, because that's what I'm ignorant on, because I don't know if anything has happened in the United States like this. Yeah. To this extent. But something like this does happen a lot. It's just this time is real bad. Yeah. And it's not as, like... It's not as easy to pinpoint as, like, the financial crisis or the housing crisis. This is, like, some dude's just fucking with the livelihood of a lot of people right now. Yeah. And it's not just like the United States, it's the world. Yeah. So much so that Nintendo's not doing pre-orders now in the United States, which is what it all comes back around to, is that Nintendo has delayed pre-orders and we still don't know what happens or when they're going to come back up. You can pre-order games and you can get that done, but for the console itself, I mean, I'd imagine that they're going to go back up before launch day. Yeah. But they could move launch day in the United States. I mean, they could totally do that. It would be hell. It would be insane, and it would be the online markets that would be selling consoles in other countries are going to get fucked. Right. Oh yeah. But I could see that happening. That used to happen. The PlayStation didn't launch, you know, all at once across the world. It was Japan first, then the United States, and then Europe. Like, that's how it used to be. We could reset to that. We're creating. We're taking away the global market is pretty much what's happening right now in front of our eyes. Like, I mean, we're not we. That's a more royal we. It's the government is taking away the global market in front of us, and I'm not the guy to be like, hey, this is what we should do about it. I'm just pointing it out of like, yeah, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get why you would do it. Right. I mean, like, if the conspiracy theory is right on that, then I would get why you would do it. But when you have more money than God, why does it matter? You know? Right. Like, why does it matter? And then Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, you know about PlayStation Studios? You want to talk about some PlayStation Studios?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. We should talk about that. I'm gonna grab a drink and go pee real quick.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about that. Cause Marathon's finally revealed. Look at some Marathons. You want a drink?
No, I'm okay.
I got teas and stuff if you do want them. Cool beans. I'm back. Yeah. I really think it's Trump just hates Miyamoto.
Yeah, specifically, he's
like that dude.
vengeance.
It's like he created Mario. Fuck him. Miyamoto. I can't even do a Trump.
I have never been able to do a good. I'm not a good impressionist in general. I can't really.
Miyamoto. He's always making the games with the Mario. He's. I don't know what's his. Why is he like Italian so much? I can't do. Bungie. Bungie was the creator of Halo.
Yeah.
They stopped making Halo a while ago. They went on to make a little game called Destiny.
Okay.
And then make a game called Destiny 2. And then somewhere along the road of Destiny 2, they were bought by PlayStation Studios. They're now owned by PlayStation Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working on a game called Marathon for a long time. Even before Halo, Bungie made a game called Marathon on Mac.
Okay.
It's a Mac game. It was a first-person shooter. It was more of a Doom-like, one of those like boomer shooters before they were called that. It was like just the first-person shooters of the era.
Yeah.
This is not that, but is that. We'll get into what this is after we watch a little bit of it, but this is a reveal of it. We had that teaser forever ago, and we remember it was like the weird sniper lady, and it was like all these matte colors, but it was like really trippy and sci-fi.
I think so.
And then it was like Marathon, and then it had like it was like it wasn't dubstep, but it was like trance house music, like kind of stuff. Anyways, we'll get a little reveal of some gameplay. They did like a 40-minute presentation the other day of like a whole bunch of stuff. There was a gameplay trailer, a story trailer, and stuff.
But the dream is not over. My dream. Yours. Now. Run.
Kind of reminds me of Hotline Miami's music. I think it's Moon who made this music for those games. Moon is that album's they're sick. They're real sick. What a good trailer. I haven't watched any of these yet. I should have said that beforehand. I haven't seen any of this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. September 23rd. Cool. Cool. Watch a little story trailer. Reveal cinematic short.
It's not short.
Yeah, it's not that short.
It's like half an episode.
It's time.
Yeah,
Your
10
time. Not
minutes.
just to go back to school, but to
Um,
come back and move forward with.
Yeah, I want to see what. Just get some lore. That's real pretty.
It looks cool, but if it's just another like battle royale arena game, I'm kind of done with those, to be honest. I've played them all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much more you can do,
Right.
to really
You're kind of right there. It's,
defeat the top. You know, you got the big 3 or the big 4. You got,
Jesus, that looks so nice.
you know, Newgrounds or Battlegrounds,
Right. This
Fortnite, Apex.
This is Tarkov. This is a.
And then Tarkov. Tarkov
yeah.
is probably the top. Is the the newest. Tarkov was the newest rendition of that.
Yeah. So technically, this is an extraction shooter. It's PvPvE.
Mm-hmm.
Player versus everyone. It seems like it's gonna focus more on the everyone side, with players kind of like more interspersed. Like Tarkov, you're more likely to run into a person and then NPCs every once in a while.
Yeah.
This game seems like it's gonna be more NPCs and then players every once in a while kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I don't know how or why exactly. People got hands-on of it this weekend as well. I've heard some mixed things about it, but it didn't seem like a lot of the NPC stuff was there. It seemed like it was just people were playing a straight-up extraction shooter.
Which is cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the. I think the extraction shooter is definitely like a more fun way to play. You're not forced to kill people. You know, you can kind of do your own thing or whatever. But
yeah, there's the weird lore that's going on here is that these runners are indebted people that are being recloned from like basically like a dead person that's and they're just using DNA of a dead person to reclone them over and over again.
Basically like AI.
Yeah. But every time you reset, you have the memories of that old person, but you don't have memories of the new person.
Like $1 trillion. Like $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Your shell repayment is coming up and will be charged against your line of credit. Yeah, I know. Do you mind if we skip the formalities this time? Got a big contract waiting down there, so. Understood. Let's proceed with.
But because there's an extraction shooter element, the whole idea is that there is a progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's
Supposed
cool.
to be my lucky charm.
But I wonder if they're gonna do memory wipes, then that's how they're gonna reset seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the Tarkov season, you lose all your gear and shit. And
Yeah, you have
go
to
back
start
to
over.
0.
Yep.
Yeah, but you get like a kind of like an emblem if you get far enough in the progression, being like, oh yeah, I made it this far in the last season or whatever. Super high fidelity. I kind of can't believe this looks this good.
Yeah, the trailer looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's my mom. That's your mother.
Now, consider this. Do you recognize this child?
Who are you? I don't know.
It's you.
What? Really?
And I imagine after every run, you pick up stuff that changes your appearance. So like the trailer or the whatever this is probably changes too.
Yeah, the outfits are really cool. I do
Yeah.
the colors strike me a lot more than Tarkov. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more like future. Like Tarkov is not trying to be anything more than like a just to rush in.
Yeah. And this sci-fi aesthetic isn't like... It doesn't feel like anything else. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like a bunch of things, but like, it's so much of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so vibrant, so trippy. Like, yeah, there's some Apex in there, there's some Starfield in there, there's some, like, Returnal, like, it's all in there.
Yeah.
But, Jesus, this has a look to it. That's so sick. If they made the Concord animations like this, dude, fucking... That game would still be going. Like, they made the characters look half as interesting as these. They didn't even have to put dialogue in this. I would have watched 10 minutes. It seemed like it was against her will. Hell yeah.
Nice, you're all fighting over nice music.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
It is a cool. I mean, it definitely looks like the story progression would probably make it. Oh shit! Would probably make it a lot better.
Yeah. Because, like, Tarkov has story progression and NPCs, but it's all, like, written and shit. And, like,
Yeah.
it's still... Tarkov's been in early access for, like, 7 years. This is gonna be... This is just coming out. I'm sure they'll have... Bless you. I'm sure they'll have, like, plenty of added, like, as it goes on. Because it's Bungie.
Right.
But...
Do you recognize this child?
No, this is the one clip I did see. They're all in their cryo chambers like the Matrix.
Well, that's obnoxious. Why would you do it sideways like that?
But they're not, they're sideways like that, but they're not giving, specificity to who they are. So that's kind of cool. Like everybody's on the same field.
Oh, yeah.
They're not saying who's direct, or they might say who directs it. Oh yeah, it says written, directed. But then everybody else, all the developers and stuff are on the even field. Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Again, Bungie has had a very tumultuous couple of years. Is what I want Bungie to get a win, you know? Like Destiny 2, it seems like that final expansion people liked, but then it seemed people aren't happy on how they've handled like the rest of it. But also like they've laid a bunch of people off and a bunch of key people have left, like higher up wise. There was the whole thing of like the CEOs like laying a bunch of people off, but in the background he's buying a whole bunch of like really expensive cars on auction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people were mad about that, understandably so. But this is like Bungie's final, like, get the goodwill of PlayStation before they start stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Sony bought Bungie, they were basically like hands off. They were like, hey, you do the Destiny thing, like, we want you to help us with the online video game stuff because we don't know what we're doing, but we're gonna let you make Destiny and whatever you're doing, and as long as you can help us, we're good. Since then, Sony has canceled 12 live service games.
Wow.
Including The Last of Us, the Factions, I think it was called at the time.
Yeah.
Their online multiplayer thing. Concordus came out. That was the $800 million plus game that was canceled in 2 weeks after being launched. Sony has not had a good track record with online service games either as of recently. And a lot of it's because Bungie has been in the picture. I could see this doing very well because it's Bungie. I don't know if it will have the legs past the first season, you know?
Yeah.
What comes of Bungie after that within the next couple of years, I really don't know. Again, we talk about uncertainties in the games industry. PlayStation has a bunch of studios under them, but they have also chopped off a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all of Japan Studios is gone. It's only Team Asobo now, which is the Astrobot people.
Right.
Anything else, though, like, from Team Eco to the Katamari people to fucking Patapons coming out on Switch. That was a crazy reveal the last Direct. That was a Japan Studios game.
Yeah.
They just shut down Sony London not too long ago.
Oh, wow.
I remember,
Yeah.
Jim Ryan was, like, there taking pictures with them the week before they shut them down.
That's crazy. Yeah.
and London Studios, I think they were doing a lot of PSVR stuff, but that's a legacy studio that did, like, The Getaway back in the day and stuff like that. And then, yeah, they keep shaving more and more off of Bungie. I think Bungie's laid off, like, a couple thousand people at least. Yeah, I really don't know how much Sony has left to lose. But they have bought a lot of weird live service studios as of recently, and I don't know why. Like, whatever the Concord studio was such a weird call. Like, that studio was barely existed. They were still under development on their first game, and Sony was like, we're gonna buy you guys.
Yeah.
And
there's probably some insider,
yeah,
like, friend of a friend or something.
Yeah, the word was that game was already like $200 million into development by that point too.
Oh, wow.
So, like, Sony buying it and then theoretically putting another $600 million into it over time is insane. And that's including marketing and all that stuff too. It's not just development costs, but that's crazy. They also bought Haven, which is they're doing that Fair Games. That's the other PvP extraction shooter-esque game that they showed off. That was all like the weird masks and stuff that.
Yeah.
They were like wearing a Reagan mask or a Nixon mask or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, that's another studio that's like unproven and then Sony just bought.
Just taking chances.
Yeah, but again, after shutting the legacy studios down, like,
yeah,
that's crazy. Like, of course, Japan Studios games, like Patapon's not selling 10 million units, but almost none of their games sell 10 million units. So I don't know what Sony's thinking. Where it's like, Horizon is probably their best-selling game ever.
Yeah.
The first one, I want to say, is like somewhere in the 17 million unit range, and that's crazy for them, you know. God of War is nowhere close to that. The Last of Us is nowhere close to that.
Yeah.
I could say the closest game that's probably to that 20 million mark under Sony. Fuck. Actually, I don't even. I couldn't think of anything under them.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything that is the size of Mario Kart or anything like that. Not that their games aren't good, but like their games don't call for that either.
Yeah.
Sony needs to figure out what they're doing with budget. That's a big thing. This is a very expensive game. Marathon's very expensive. If it's anywhere close to Concord, which is probably more, this is close to $1 billion game that we're looking at.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. I could see that easily being the case. I mean, if you include like buying the studio into that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't buy it for Destiny. Destiny 2 was in hot water at the time. They knew Marathon existed when they bought it.
Yeah.
The Marathon's been talked about for a while. It is crazy to see it now.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing like that original game.
Carl never really thought.
Fuck Carl. No, John. You got Carl and John. Original Marathon.
Oh, yeah, it just looks like Doom.
Yeah.
Or not Doom. Yeah, is it Doom?
Yeah, basically. But a lot of the vibrant colors are still there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the look of like the armor and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of 2D, but it's 3D looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool. You can aim up and down. You couldn't do that in Doom.
That's cool. Yeah, it's definitely come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been, I think, 30 years almost since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely a lot different than those originals for sure, but I do wonder what makes it a Marathon game, like other than just the logo, right?
I'm sure there's some lore tied to it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested. What else do I have? I think that is it. Which, I mean, that puts us right on schedule for a year hard out. We call an episode there. We talked about Nintendo and the tariffs, Marathon, and Oblivion. It's the big three things over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Anything else you want to leave off with?
I don't think so.
No.
I talked about the game I played.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about more blueprints once you unveil more shit.
Yeah.
For sure. That game's filled with that. It's
right.
Just filled with weird, cool shit.
Yeah.
Even if it's off camera, I can't wait to talk about it. I know I'll probably never end up playing that game because of the roguelike.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess I'm robbing myself of games if I keep doing that, but I don't know. It doesn't turn me on to games like that.
Right. I mean, if you can enjoy watching it at least, that's all you need. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to necessarily deal with the frustration yourself. You know?
somebody else can deal with the RNG,
Right.
and I can be captivated by
Exactly.
all the.
They can
all the
skip
other
all the
shit.
bullshit, and you get to
Yeah.
watch the game as it was intended.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that more. I'll have more games to talk about. I'm sure I'll get more into Demon Souls, but
Yeah.
we'll see if Oblivion's out by then, or I'm sure I'll find another game by then too. I have a lot of things, a lot of old things that I want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Patrick said, he has a hard out at noon. That's like in 2 minutes. So we will
Yeah.
call it there. We will be back next week with a normal episode. Until then, it's been fun, guys. It's been real. Peace out. Bye.
See ya.
Woo.
You should just put us in that white room with the astronaut.
The